Greetings and welcome to Elect Connect. This is a candidate forum brought to you by the Greater Bloomington Chamber of Commerce. I'm Mary Morgan. I'm the Chamber's Director of Advocacy and Public Policy, and we'll be talking with Cheryl Munson, who is a candidate in the Democratic Party primary for Monroe County Council at-large seat. First, I would like to begin by thanking our sponsors. For Elect Connect this year, we're really privileged to have sponsors German American, Bunger and Robertson, the City of Bloomington, Hoosier Energy, Indiana University, and Smithville. Without their sponsorship, this work would not be possible. And again, we'll be introducing now Cheryl Munson for the Monroe County Council at-large seat. Cheryl, welcome. How are you?
Good morning. I'm great.
I'd like to begin by just asking you to please tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're interested in running for office.
I'm running for office for the same reasons I ran before. I love Monroe County, and I want to do all I can to have its future be the best it can be. And this year, it is no different. I am currently serving my second term on the council, and I'm a longtime resident, but I am not a long timer in Monroe County because you have to have your great-grandparents born here to be a long timer. There are no Munson roads. My husband Patrick and I came here 49 years ago, and we are deeply rooted in Indian Creek Township, where we have a farm and raised 2 children, and now greatly enjoy our 4 grandgirls. In my professional work, I'm an archaeologist and research scientist at Indiana University. Before County Council, I served 16 years on the Indian Creek Township Board.
Okay, well, thank you. I'm curious to know what your outlook is for Monroe County for the remainder of 2020 and into 2021. Specifically, how you think the COVID-19 fallout will affect the county budget, and what changes would you support to address any future shortfalls?
Well, I want to start by saying that it has already affected what the county council is doing. We responded immediately with support for funding for Hoosier Hills Food Bank and for United Way. And we responded additionally by appropriating food and beverage funds for COVID-19 responses. And we did this through the Rainy Day Fund. And then we additionally responded with funding from food and beverage taxes. That is, those are our saving accounts, if you will, the Rainy Day Fund in particular. And we will have to watch it very carefully because it has to carry us not just through this year, but for the shortfalls that we anticipate coming in the next several years. The county council, I'm afraid, is going to have the hardest job of any elected officials. We have to maintain services, and we want to take care of our employees because they are the ones who provide the services. And so it will be a very challenging balancing act between the revenues that we feel that we can rely on coming in, and those that we can that we have to provide for the services that the residents count on and need.
The COVID-19 crisis has understandably put in the plans for Monroe County Convention Center expansion on the back burner. What's your outlook for that particular project?
I've been serving on the Convention Center various advisory bodies for several years now. And I sure hate to move this to the back burner, but I do believe that is where it has to be. the the revenue that's going to be coming in from food and beverage taxes will be decreased greatly. And it will take some time for our businesses and restaurants to reestablish and come back to the way that they were when they left in early March. So we just have to be patient. We also have to examine what sort of convening opportunities that are in front of us as we go into future years. Will there be conferences of large gatherings of people? And that's something we just have to wait to figure out. But also, our convention center is our community center in a way. It's the center that hosts all the big gatherings in Bloomington and in our region. And it is very valuable for that reason. So, and we've outgrown the capacity of many of our local and regional groups. So that will be a factor that we'll look at certainly in the future as well.
Okay. What would you say actions by the Monroe County Council, what actions most directly affect local businesses? And how do you solicit feedback from businesses when you're making decisions?
I think our actions are very much in line with requirements. County government has health department and inspections. That is certainly a factor. That doesn't seem to be a problem in Monroe County. We have good conformance with all the requirements, and I'm sure going into the future, there will be heightened concern and certainly very careful compliance. Our work with the businesses is to support them by providing services that they need. They need to be in a community, and what county government provides is the justice system for that community. We provide the health, and we provide the roads around the center of Bloomington to bring people into the businesses. And we don't provide public transportation. We don't provide outside the city limits. And we don't provide law enforcement except outside the city limits. But those are the key elements. We do support having development that enhances businesses and enhances our economy. So that is certainly a focus of county interest.
And what are the ways that you actually solicit input
Opinion?
from businesses?
Personally, before the initial convention center discussions and then in the later ones, I asked businesses. I asked proprietors. Mm-hmm. And I contacted the Independent Restaurant Association, and I wanted to know what they thought about food and beverage tax. And it was mixed, but it was supportive because they wanted to see an expansion of the convention center because that would bring them business. So it was not, it was more my personal effort where I really got to talk with people. Of course, we did have public hearings when there were discussions about the food and beverage tax, as we have public hearings on every dime and penny that the council spends. And Zoom has cut back just a little bit on this, perhaps, but we haven't gotten into the budget season, and I think people will participate again.
So switching to the state level, what are changes at the state level that you think you would might advocate for to benefit Monroe County?
The principal one that I see is to increase support for our elements of our justice system, particularly probation and incarceration, and to help those be as restorative as possible. We do, with the current funding programs, Monroe County does very well because we have excellent departments. But additionally, for funding that has been discussed for environmental sustainability, the city's proposal for a small income tax increase, I think, would fall completely flat this year and probably the next couple of years, because there's going to be fiscal constraints. And I would like the city to be able to have its own taxing authority separate from the county for the services that the city wishes to provide. The county should have its own separate authority as well. So dividing those authorities and spending responsibilities, I think, would be advantageous.
Okay. Well, we're about to wrap up. Is there anything else you'd like to add? Any final thoughts you'd like to share?
I will say, everybody, please continue to be safe and well. If you don't feel comfortable when the stay-at-home requirement is released, please continue to stay at home. That doesn't mean you should not be supporting our local businesses. You should be, because they have done a great job by stepping up to the curb, stepping up to serve the residents of this county. And I know that will continue, and I want to thank all of them for their response.
Great. Thank you very much, Cheryl. And again, just to remind everybody, that was Cheryl Munson. She's running in the Democratic Party primary on June 2nd for the Monroe County Council at-large seat. Again, we would also like to thank our sponsors for Elect Connect, German American, Bunger and Robertson, the City of Bloomington, Hoosier Energy, Indiana University, and Smithville. And finally, just a reminder to vote on June 2nd in the primary election. And this year, all voters are eligible to vote by mail, so we hope that you will consider that option. You can get more information on the Monroe County election site at monroecountyvoters.us, and also on the Bloomington Chamber of Commerce site at chamberbloomington.org/2020-primary-election. Thanks so much.